Greetings, everybody, and I'd like to welcome you all to the Capital West Accessibility Advisory Committee meeting scheduled for September 24th at 2 p.m. First, I'd like to acknowledge with respect that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin-speaking people, and we're honored to have the opportunity to build strong working relationships with the people of the Songhees and Sepsum nations. I just wanted to let you know our chair, Patsy, is attending electronically, and because it's difficult to work with the equipment, I'm helping chair the meeting for her today. So I just wanted to call the meeting to order. I guess we're a couple minutes late at 2:03. And if we could actually get somebody to move the approval of the agenda. Okay, I see Janie's hand up. So Janie just moved approval of the agenda. Is everybody in favor of that? If anybody's opposed, you can just raise your hands. We look good. It looks like the agenda is approved. Thank you. I'm looking to get somebody to move the adoption of the minutes from the meeting held May 28th, 2025. If I can get a mover. Amanda just put up her hand from Highlands. So we've got a mover. Is anybody opposed to the adoption of the minutes?
I was going to say abdicate. That's not the word. What's the word? Abstain.
Okay.
Because I was not.
No problem. Okay. It looks like there is nobody, so I'll just call the question. Everybody's in favor. Carried. Oh, my apologies. I just turned off the mic. I just wanted to also highlight that September is Disability Employment Awareness Month. Acronym is DEEM. It is to highlight the value of people with disabilities in the workforce and promote inclusive employment. Also to recognize employers who foster accessible and equitable workplaces. We'd like to also take the opportunity to welcome a newly appointed citizen member for the Township of Esquimalt, Maggie Thompson. And I'm just gonna, for the people back home, let her do a quick little introduction and say hi. 1 second, please.
Hello, hi, I'm Maggie Thompson. I'm 67 now, and I have two serious disabilities. One I was diagnosed with when I was 30, I guess, 1988, manic depression. And so I've lived with that. I was manic depressive probably from the moment I was born. But anyway, I was diagnosed then. And recently I've been diagnosed in 2019 with myasthenia gravis, which is a motor neuron condition that that affects mostly what we know as the voluntary muscles, the blinking, the smiling, the things that you do without thinking. And the one that's the most important, of course, is the breathing. And sometimes it catches me and I have to go on a breathing machine. Anyway, I'm very, very happy to be as well as I am and very happy to be here.
Thank you, Maggie. That's great. So we will move on to the first item of business that is under item 4.1. It's from the Township of Esquimalt, and it's a proposed amendment to the terms of reference. Sorry, I think, was that Victoria? Were you introducing it?
I'll do that, Marcy.
Thanks,
Thank
Deb.
you.
Thank you.
So this really stemmed from a number of your staff support attending, and I think a few of the members themselves attending a Disability Alliance BC seminar on holding accessibility and sort of best practices and sharing what people are doing and what's working well, and some guidance documents and education opportunities through them. And through that, we also heard a little bit of feedback from our members, and we brought that back and thought about things that we could possibly change to make the committee a bit more flexible so that there was a bit of opportunity to talk about learnings or events or other matters that the committee members wanted to bring to the table. And so we wanted to make an amendment to the terms of reference to allow that roundtable discussion. So this is really a minor amendment to the terms of reference under section 5.4, which is adding a roundtable discussion to the regular business at committee meetings. And then the addition of section 5.5 to sort of explain what that roundtable discussion is. So with that, I hand it over to the committee for discussion.
Thank you. Go ahead, Belinda, please.
Hi. I do believe that round table discussions are a positive addition to committee meetings. I think my concern might be that if it is a new topic, say education or something that is going to take time, it would be better as an agenda item because these meetings, they go fast. And if everybody brought a new topic at the end of the meeting, it might create a little bit of a problem. I say, yes, let's have a roundtable, but it's just an opportunity for people to summarize something that they missed when they were speaking earlier, or if it's something quick that just takes a minute or two to say, then yeah, I welcome that. But if it's to introduce a new topic of discussion, then I believe that would belong on the agenda. And I just wonder if you can maybe just clarify when you were bringing this up, Victoria, when, like, for example, with education, can you give us like a sample or an example of what you meant or how it would come up at the end?
Through the chair, it's Deb Hopkins speaking on behalf of Victoria and myself. We both put this proposal together along with our committee, our partners at the municipalities. And really, this isn't meant to be a new agenda item. It's meant for committee members to share. So maybe there's an event that you went to or some education that you went to and you want to bring a summary back and present that to the committee. It does come with a 5-minute update time limit. So it's not meant to bog down the meetings in terms of, reiterating everything that you learned in a half-day conference or something. So it's just meant to share some information and, just create some more opportunity within the agendas for your own participation.
Yeah, I think that's important. Any committee meeting will benefit from sharing information, and especially if someone learns something really new and valuable in a presentation or a meeting that they went to. So I support sharing information, and if it's a limited time amount, then I'm not opposed to it. I guess my concern would come like if it was a full summary of a presentation that would take more than 5 minutes, and I feel like that should be put on the agenda. But if it's just like 2 to 3 minutes where someone's just pointing out a few key points from, something related to education or a previous meeting or an important new fact, I think that's great. Sharing is vital.
Thank you, Belinda. Patsy, I think you had your hand up as well.
No, I'm okay now. Thanks.
Thank you. So we did have a recommendation on the agenda. Oh, sorry. Maggie has her hand up. 1 second, I'm just going to put it on. Go ahead.
I think it's probably a good idea, but I do think that we could at some point, hopefully soon, review what our rules of order are. I looked up, there are so many different rules. I looked up where Robert's rules came from. Do you know where they came from? After the Civil War in the United States, Judge Roberts was overwhelmed with all the applications for reparations. Remember, Black people had no reparations. And that's where it came from. So I think we could do better. And there are lots of other ones. Actually, you can Google it. There's lots of other ones. But for now, I think roundtable discussions should happen as much as possible with a time limit. And I would, do we have a mover?
Not yet, I didn't.
Okay.
I'll read out the recommendations so we're just clear on what it was. So the recommendation is that the Capital West Accessibility Advisory Committee recommends to Council that the Capital West Accessibility Advisory Committee terms of reference be amended by adding 7 roundtable discussion to section 5.4 and then renumbering the subsequent order of business. Can we get a mover for that?
I'll move it. I'll move it.
That was moved by Maggie. So we've got a mover. And is anybody opposed to that? Oh, okay. Nope. So I'll call the question. Okay. Nobody was opposed, so that's carried. Thank you. On to the next item of business, 4.2, the City of Langford. It's for support for an accessible playground for Happy Valley Elementary School. And I will let Langford take that away.
Thanks very much, Marcy. So the City of Langford has received a request from the Playground Replacement Committee at Happy Valley Elementary School. They want to replace their playground. They've done some fundraising. They want to apply for some grants. And in order to do that, they need a letter of support from the city. So the city is just looking for a recommendation from the committee that we provide a letter of support to the playground committee for an accessible playground grant.
So did somebody want to make the recommendation and then we could go to discussion? The recommendation that's on the agenda is that the Capital West Accessibility Advisory Committee prepare a letter of support for the accessible playground project at Happy Valley Elementary School, and that can be used to accompany the grant funding applications. If we can get a mover on that, we can go to discussion. Thank you. I'll put the mover down as Belinda. Is there any discussion from members on this?
No.
Okay, I'll start with Janie, have your hand up. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wondered if we could see what the playground project would look like, what kind of accessibility equipment they're hoping to get, and so we know what it actually involves. I'm fully supportive of them getting what they're looking for. It would just be nice to know exactly what they're hoping for.
I was going to say the exact same thing.
So thank you for the question through the chair. At this time, we don't know. All they've asked for is a letter so that they can apply for grant funding. It will likely, what they can do will likely depend on what they get for grant funding.
I'm just going to put on Maggie. She has a question.
Yes, is the initiative being taken by the school board, by Parks, Public Works, or who? Who's making this initiative?
So the initiative is coming from the Playground Replacement Committee. It's likely a parents group.
A parent group. Okay, that's good.
I believe I saw somebody else with their hand up. I think it was Janie. Oh, no, it was, but go ahead. I'll start with Janie because I think she had her hand up. I think you all might have. Thank you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if they're gonna be applying for a grant, they've got to have a general idea of what they're looking for, and so it would just be nice I know I do a lot of grant applications and you have to have a lot of detail to get even a partial grant of what you're looking for. So so they must have a good idea of what they would like, and it would just be nice to know more details.
So we'll be happy to follow up with them and post more information on the city's accessibility page. But I do believe that their grant application, they're looking to put it in sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and I don't want to hold that up at all by anything. I know there's timelines involved.
Sorry, go ahead, Patsy, you have your hand up?
Yeah, my question is, the letter that was sent to the city of Langford was in July. So because now we're in a position where we want a little bit more information, and that speaks to involvement, what can we do to ensure that we have that information ahead of time? Is there a process that whereby, if, you know, because the meetings are so far apart, we're being put in this position?
I'm gonna agree with you, Patsy, because we went through this exact issue last meeting where the District of Highlands wanted an approval letter, and we do not want to stand in the way of supporting accessibility. However, they wanted a support letter within 24 hours. And now we have this request, which we want to support. You know, don't get us wrong. This is the kind of thing we want to support. But we're not just going to say yes without any information. This is putting forward something without detail. You know, we're serious about what we're doing, but we're not just going to do this. Yeah, we need either a photo or a description. All grant applications are detailed. So waiting to the last minute and then wanting us to vote on something that has no detail is very frustrating to us. Or speaking for myself, I'm frustrated.
So I appreciate your frustration, and I'm not trying to downplay that whatsoever. Going forward, we would certainly be happy to require a little bit more detail on these requests before they come forward. And so we can, and I can only speak for Langford, but we can absolutely, when we receive these requests, ask for more detail before it comes forward to these meetings.
Sorry, go ahead, Patsy.
Thank you. Thanks, Marie. I think that's, you know, the really important. And I know that you can only speak for Langford. As a representative for the View Royal, I hope that they will take this on as well. I think it should be a change across the 7 municipalities, so it's continued involvement across all municipalities. Just one doing it is, you know, not moving forward.
Sorry, go ahead.
And I agree with that. And this is part of the having training and roles and responsibility documents. We need to outline these requests, timeframes. You know, the three of us are volunteering. So when a quick turnaround is required, it sets us up for failure.
Thank you. I don't see any hands up here. I don't see any virtual hands up. So we do have a mover for that from Belinda. I'm just going to call the question. Is there anybody opposed to the motion? You're opposed to the motion, Patsy, for the letter? Okay, thank you. Okay,
I would just like to say that I read that we can get 24 hours. There's a period where we can say, I'm opposing, but hopefully in 24 hours, whoever's applying for the letter of support can come forward with something and then, you know, move them forward as fast as we can. I support the playground 100%, but the reputation of municipalities, our reputation as volunteers, this all goes on this document without seeing a plan. And that's why I'm opposing.
thank you. So we do have two opposed, but, oh, sorry, Maria actually just wanted to speak. So give me one sec.
So I just want to remind all of the committee members, and just as a reminder, we now have 4 committee members, not just 3. But I just want to remind the committee members that this is not a municipality initiative. This is an initiative that's being undertaken by the school or a committee of the school, and the city doesn't have the power to approve or deny their plans for a playground. All we're being asked to do is support their application for the playground.
Totally understand that, and I knew that. That was pretty much going to be what you were saying. I totally agree with that. It's a different ball altogether, but it's still it's an information. We need this information.
What? Oh, sorry, go ahead, Belinda.
Yeah, so we're not asking the city of Langford to accept or deny. We're just asking the city of Langford to provide us with a little bit of information so that we can make an informed and professional decision. I have said this before, I want to support all initiatives, but I'm not going to accept blindly. And we've asked before for more time and more information. So I don't think it's a stretch to say, come prepared with a little bit of information to share with us so that when we discuss it, we know what we're voting on.
Thank you. So we did have the question on the floor. We do have 2 that are opposed. I believe currently there is actually 6 official members on the committee because the corporate officers are in that role until we have a citizen representative that takes that place. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Maggie just wanted to say something. 1 second, please.
To reconsider my vote, because either way here, we're going to get in trouble, right? Either way, because if we accept this blindly, our endorsements mean nothing. They only will have meaning if they are fully accepted and embraced by us and understood by the funders and so on. If we say yes and we don't have the information, it's meaningless. If we say no, it sounds like we don't want to be helpful. So I would like to change my vote so that I would agree to this motion in principle. pending the acceptance, so that we don't have to go and vote over this again, which was what we'd have to do. So I would like to say I would agree to it in principle if that's acceptable to the chair.
Sorry, go ahead, Patsy.
Thank you, Maggie, and thanks for bringing that up. And I would reconsider my vote at this time as well.
Thank you. Belinda?
I'm just wondering if we could just get the details emailed to us today. Is that a possibility? Because I don't think that it should reflect on us that we're just asking for necessary information. This falls on the city of Langford for not providing us with what we needed to make a decision. So I disagree with you respectfully, Maggie.
Thank you. So, oh, sorry, 1 second, please. Marie was just on to speak. There we go.
So I can't commit that we would be able to get a response today. I don't know what their time frame would be, and we don't have the information. Typically, it's not something that we would ask for. As I've said before, going forward, we will certainly ask for it. And for this project, we will ask them for more information, but I can't give them a timeline of today. I don't know what information they have available, and I don't know how often that person is looking at their email. So it wouldn't be fair of me to make that commitment.
Okay, I'm just looking if there was any more. Go ahead, Patsy.
Did Ruth King not come before the committee meeting when they wanted their playground? Accessible playground in Langford?
I believe they made a grant and aid request, not
Okay.
not just a letter of support. And
Okay,
don't mean
Thank
just
you.
a letter of support, but they were actually seeking funding from the municipality.
Thank you. So, moving forward, we did have a motion on the floor. I have Patsy, are you still as opposed to the question?
No, I'm in favor.
In favor? Okay, so I'll just call the question one more time. And is there anybody opposed to the motion? I see no virtual hands or physical hands, so I'm going to say that the motion is carried. Thank you, everyone. On to the next item. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Thank you, everybody. I just wanted to let you know that Marie from Langford is having to leave because she has another obligation, and Melissa is available as a Langford representative should you have any questions. So we are going to move on to the next item, which is the City of Langford. It's the auto accessibility options for the City of Langford Council Chambers. We do have a representative from the City of Langford that's here to speak, and I will just get him to hit the mic at the base and do introductions. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Kevin Dubé. I'm the IT manager for the City of Langford, and I'm pleased to be here in front of you all today. Thank you for having me. We have a staff report that kind of summarizes the recommendation, but I'll walk you through that. So I've been looking at improving hearing accessibility in council chambers for a while now. And initially we looked at several options for improving hearing accessibility. One was traditional induction coil called T-coil, which some of you may be familiar with. It's the old way of doing hearing assist, and it's a wire that runs in the carpet or in the ceiling of the room, and people that have the hearing aids that have that capability will pick up the sound and transfer it through to their hearing aid. So we looked at that as an option. Originally that was what we were going to do, but then we became aware of some newer technology that the CRD has implemented in their council chambers. And that technology was Oracast. And so I'll explain a little bit about Oracast. So the nice thing about Oracast is that it also provides that same technology, the induction loop, but instead of a wire in the ceiling, it's a receiver and a neck loop that you put around your neck. So if your hearing aid supports induction loop T-coil technology, then you can use that. And then there's a new standard coming out with, which is Bluetooth low energy, which is kind of like there's an antenna in the corner of the council chambers broadcasting this low energy Bluetooth signal. And if you have a newer hearing aid that supports it, then you can just pick up the sound without having to pair anything like normal Bluetooth that you might be familiar with. So that's a newer technology. So it obviously supports that. It also supports the induction loop. And then kind of as the fallback, it also supports having you have receivers that you can plug headphones into. So if your hearing aid doesn't support any of those options, you can put headphones on and plug them into receivers, which are actually picking up the Bluetooth signal. There's a little diagram in the report to show you a little bit about how the Bluetooth works. So the good thing about this going with this technology, as opposed to like induction loop or even a radio frequency, which is another option, is that it's really on the cutting edge of the new technology coming in, but it also supports the old technology, induction loop. So just to summarize, the benefits of the Oracast is it's compatible with the newest technology, works with T-coil enabled devices, works with Oracast, and it has a fallback of headphones plugged into receivers. And so there's numerous options. And yeah, so I just wanted to kind of go through that a little bit with the committee and give them opportunity to ask any questions around the technology or the options that we considered. But we already have this in the budget, on Langford's budget for this year. So it's something that we're hoping to get done this year if we can, given the timing. Thank you.
So we have questions. I'm just going to start with Maggie first.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I didn't get your name.
Oh, it's Kevin Dubé. I'm the IT
Kevin,
manager for
Kevin
Langford.
I was on a property committee for a heritage building, and we've done this several times, about 20 years ago to first. So but I'm not familiar with the technology. And the thing we learned from the very beginning was that, and maybe I should ask you, were there people with hearing impairments involved in the selection of this system?
We did actually, when we went to the CRD, we actually had one of our counselors. We have several counselors that have hearing devices. So we took Mark, Councillor Mark, to CRD, and we did some testing and evaluation there with.
So would you say yes?
Yes, I mean there was, yes. The short answer.
That is really important,
yeah.
Because the difference in hearing and it is profound.
Now, unfortunately, like to tell the full story, when we went to the CRD,
why are you referring to the CRD?
Because they actually have the system.
Oh, they have the same system.
Yeah. So
okay.
We went there to kind of see how it worked, and if they were happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
It was great, the fact that they've just installed the system that we're looking at. So, but our councillor Morley, his hearing aid is new, but which I didn't know, but his hearing aid doesn't support induction loop. It doesn't support Oracast, which I'm shocked that they're making new hearing aids that don't.
It's a problem, isn't it? It's a real problem because these things are expensive. How
Yeah.
much will this system cost the city?
It's around 6,000. So it's actually, I mean, it's expensive, but it's in our budget as far as.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think Patsy, you had your hand up for some questions.
Just a quick question, headphones. I just have a question about sanitation, like
Mhm.
wiping them down and making sure they're germ-free, especially these days. And
That's a real good
yeah,
question.
thank
Actually,
you.
haven't thought about that yet, how we're going to deal with that. But I asked the same question to CRD actually because I was curious how they're dealing with it, and they've put the system in, but they haven't had any people actually needed to use it yet. So, but yeah, I can imagine. We'll have to look at what headphones we can get whatever kind of headphones we want. I imagine they just plug into like a normal audio jack. So it might be that we get some really cheap ones that we can give away, or obviously if we're going to keep them, we're going to have to come up with some way to sanitize them. So thank you. That's a very good point to consider.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions for Kevin? Yeah, go ahead, Belinda.
I just have a quick question. Can people bring their own headphones and connect with this system, or is it strictly you would have to provide the headphones?
I'll double check on that, but I'm pretty sure that it's just a standard audio jack. So if you have for the receiver that comes with the system, of course now people have a lot of them have wireless AirPods or things like that, and unfortunately I actually didn't get to test that. Could the AirPod wirelessly connect to the receiver? But that is a good question for the vendor. If obviously if it's a regular audio jack, they're fine bringing their own, but wireless, one would think you could connect, but Apple hasn't actually adopted the standard yet, so that is a bit of a roadblock for us. So, but thank you for raising that, and I'll check into that for sure.
Thank you.
Patsy, sorry.
All right, go ahead, Patsy.
Hi, sorry, one more question. Is the $6,000 just for one unit?
It's for a antenna, control device, and I think we get 4 receivers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't see any physical hands up, and I don't believe there's any more virtual hands up. So I don't believe we have a recommendation, correct, Tiffany? No. So the motion that is proposed is that the Capital West Accessibility Advisory Committee recommend the Listen Aurocast system, Bluetooth LE, as the preferred audio accessibility enhancement for the City of Langford Council Chambers. Is there anybody wanting to make that motion? The motion has been made by Maggie.
Want to move to amend the motions to say that the CanWest Advisory Committee support or some other word, but we can't recommend because we haven't had a selection of options provided to us. I believe that's the wrong word.
I agree.
I agree.
I heard I agree from Belinda, and somebody else just said I agree, but I didn't. Thank you, Patsy.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, so everybody is okay with that change, that the Capital West Advisory Committee, we would recommend, it would go to their councils to support. So we'll change it to support, correct? Okay. Is there anybody opposed to that? No? Nobody physically, nobody oh, sorry, go ahead.
Just question the word preferred, like preferred. Are we removing the word preferred?
No.
Oh, she's not. You just have to hit your button, you can tell. Sorry, I didn't quite hear what Maggie was saying. She said, could you say it in a sentence? I'm not sure.
So you saying?
Oh, one sec. You turned it off again.
To read that the Capital West Accessibility Advisory Committee prefer the listen orecast system. I think it's just the same as recommend if you say prefer, but
No, I wanted to take out the word preferred.
oh, does it in here? Is it in here? Oh, that way. The third line, sorry.
You would prefer if that word was there.
Yes, right. Just say it supports. This is why I don't speak.
That's okay. We can remove the word preferred. That's what I think I've heard, correct, Belinda? Yes. Okay. So we prefer to get rid of prefer. Thank you. So I'll call the question
say
with those
yes,
changes. Is anybody opposed to that recommendation? I see no one, so we'll carry on. Thank you so much. Okay, now we're at membership updates. If you do have a membership update, because I won't call on you unless you do have one. Amanda, actually, I believe you have one, so please go ahead.
Thank you. I did write a briefing to attach to the agenda. We did have an opportunity to apply for a Spark grant. Not in the time frame that fit with the meetings, and we are very thankful to the committee for helping us get a letter of support. Our first thought was that we would just apply for the door replacement so that we could have an automatic power assist functioning door for our front door, which then we could have brought to the meeting today. But we had an opportunity present to us that we were able to pave the parking lot to make it more accessible. It was gravel, and anybody that's unsteady could lose their footing. We've had in the last couple of months, strangely enough, even though we're in the middle of nowhere, people that had a hard time getting down, and they came walking down from the road, which was sort of concerning to us. So we did have this opportunity arise, and we're very thankful that the committee was able to help us with that. I know that it was very frustrating, and it's not something that we will be doing again. But we're happy to say that on Monday, our parking lot was paved and our driveway down was paved, making it accessible to everyone, and that our new front door with the power assist functionality will be installed in October. Also, sorry, I did mention it earlier, but not in this meeting. We have been advertising for a citizen representative. We've also been putting it out on our social media, and we haven't received any applications to date. I do approach just about anybody that I come across in the community to ask if it's something they'd be interested in. I've asked our counselors to spread the word as well. We spread it to our committee members and our associations, but we still are waiting to hear from somebody. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll just give a quick little update from Colwood. So for membership, we're hoping to get a citizen member instead of myself. I kind of sweet talk somebody to attending the meeting today and hoping that maybe they'll put in an application today. So we'll hope for that. I just also wanted to give you a quick update because I told the committee, I think at the last meeting, that we were waiting for feedback from Access West Shore related to our accessibility plan. I just wanted to let you know that we did receive feedback. I got it this week. I have taken that feedback and incorporated it into the accessibility plan, and I'm having it scheduled for our October 14th council meeting for consideration. I just wanted to give a quick little update on some of the things that came back from Access West Shore, formerly IACTI. I took their comments and did make some revisions to that document. So based on the feedback, they'd asked that under accessible parking that I add specifically consideration for van accessible parking. So that's been added to the document. Under the collaborations with persons with accessibility needs, I just added a section in there about Colwood city staff providing administrative support from 2013 to 2020, providing, like, doing their agendas and minutes and providing assistance to them. So that's been added. I also added a section in there about how the city of Colwood has a subscription service. I can't speak for the rest of the municipalities, where you go on and you can select Capital West Accessibility Committee. You can select to get agendas and minutes, and that way it would keep any members or advocacy groups informed of things that are coming up. They also specifically requested, we did put something in there about people who English is not their first language. So not just that, I've also added including American Sign Language to that section as well. And then I did add under one part under the policy, added a section saying make additional efforts that recognize the unique challenges of people with disabilities during such events such as a heat dome. So that has been added to the document as well. And just so you know, they also provided some feedback, and I thought this was a good one, that they would really like us to look at having an evaluative approach in assessing the plan when it's complete and measuring the success of it. So I can look at some different options that I could bring back to the committee at a future date once we have our document. Just ways that we can look at it. I know we do have a review on the entire document every 3 years. But yeah, that's it. And then I will move on. Did you have something that you wanted to add, Maggie, under membership? You have to hit the button.
Can we see that plan? Can we see the plan before it goes to council, or is it, how does that work?
I can get you a copy of it, but I did, it has been provided to the committee. It's just unfortunately, like yeah, thank you. Sorry. Does anybody else have membership updates that they would like to bring forward? I'm going to go to the virtual people. Anybody want to show of hands? Well, and it looks like we don't have any further updates on that section. Okay, so we will move back onto item 4.5, and that is the feedback through our accessibility mechanism for the partner municipalities, which has been attached to the agenda. That was a request from the committee members last time. So now you can see the types of comments that are coming in from the public to give you a better understanding of what the public's looking for. It's provided for information only, but I don't know if the committee had anything that they want to discuss that has been attached there. So does anybody have any discussion on that item? Just hit your button. There you go.
I noticed much of the correspondence was to do with physical accessibility to mostly public spaces and so on. And I was just kind of curious about the relationship of public works and these requests. Public works have to be involved. Do they operate under some kind of accessible mandate as well? Or how does it, like, because we're not going to, make it easier for someone to get onto the beach at the lagoon, are we?
I hope we are actually.
No, that's we're not the Town West.
Yeah, but it would be Public Works doing the work.
Okay.
And actually I can provide an update because I forgot actually, there was one correspondence in there where there was a resident that requested an accessible picnic table at Havenwood Park. And I did actually reach out to Public Works Department to ask what the procedure was on that. They do have a temporary accessible picnic bench that is put in there. But they did advise me that moving forward, every picnic bench that they purchase has to be accessible. So I don't know when that timeline changed, but just to give you some information on that, I just wanted to make sure that that had happened for this resident that had put the request in.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead, Janie, go ahead. Sorry, Janie, you're muted. There you go.
I guess I was unmuted before I clicked. Just a question on the last point, and maybe it's just something I'm not understanding fully, but I'm wondering why you would go to IACTI and not to this committee to review your plan. Is that not what we're also for, is to look at plans and make suggestions, and why isn't IACTI the kind of old us, the old committee, and so I'm not understanding why you would go through them.
Thank you for the question. So that actually came when we brought the plan forward to our council. Our council would not consider adoption of the plan without feedback from Access West Shore. I believe that they'd reached out to members of council and it hadn't requested it. So that was back in February, and I did send a copy of the plan to their committee, and it took some time to get feedback. We did get it back. We've incorporated it in, that's why it's going before council. Once the accessibility plan is approved, then all 7 come together, and that's going to be your guiding document for this committee. So we've been patiently waiting to get that across, and October 14th, I believe I'm the last one, or Colwood's the last one to get that done. So our apologies on the delay on that, because once that is done, that will be what you're using. But each individual municipality approved their individual plan. There was the larger section that was applicable to all the municipalities, and then our sections get put in. So we've just been patiently waiting to get mine in there. I hope that answers the question, Janie.
Yeah, it doesn't really answer why IACTI was the go-to when we had formed this group by then. So I'm unsure why that would happen, and that's why sometimes this group feels like we're not being real effective, because IACTI, for instance, should not, in my opinion, be still active in doing what work, unless I'm misunderstanding something, what work this committee should be looking at and reviewing and supporting.
Yeah. I apologize. It's kind of hard to answer that question. It was a council resolution. They just said because IACTI had been instrumental in things within this community that we had to send it to them. We did make all these plans available on our website for the public. We did have community engagement on it for all the municipalities, and everybody had an opportunity, but this was a specific resolution that came from our council to do it. So now that we've got that, now it's coming back. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, Patsy, sorry.
Oh. So, does this mean that these sorts of documents moving forward with this committee will go to outside sources and not to us as committee members?
I think that if that's something that the individual councils do, we have to forward it to them if that's direction that we've been given. But no, our intention is, as soon as this is done, this will be the guiding document for this committee. I believe that because Access West Shore, formerly IACTI, had been around since I think 1989 is kind of when it started. A lot of members of council were a part of that committee, actual members of that committee. So when this comes forward to them and they're looking they wanted to get some feedback from them prior to it coming forward. It will be coming forward in its finalized form for the committee, and it will be your guiding document that you'll be using and reviewing. And that's where all of our priorities are going to be put into for each municipality.
So this final document that we're going to receive is in its final format. There'll be no review. There's no changes to be made. We don't have any voice in this complete document. Is that correct?
You will have a voice, but these individual documents had gone quite some time ago to individual councils, all done at different times. Every single community is a little bit different. I don't know, I can't recall if it's been attached to an agenda in the past. I thought it had been sent out. I'd have to double check. But because like I said, Colwood's went forward in February. So it's been quite some time. I'd have to check and I can get back and send out information to this committee.
I mean, the first we heard of it was was at the February 25th, the initial meeting that that it had gone to IACD and this was all offline. And it does create I mean, they're very successful and I don't deny them anything. They're wonderful people, but it wasn't a good start for us that day.
Right. I do know that every single one of these individual plans for the 7 municipalities did through consultation, went through feedback from communities, and that was incorporated within the document. So I can tell you that much, but I can provide more information. I can send it out to all the committee members too. Sorry, go ahead, Belinda.
I have two questions. The first one is, when you say it'll be our guiding document, can you maybe explain that a little further? Are you suggesting that we need to know and understand 7 municipalities' plan to guide our work? I'm just not clear on that wording that you said.
Yeah.
And then secondly, this is just a comment. I find it concerning that an entire council would ask you to send the documents to IACD. I have nothing against IACD. I support them. They have fantastic members, very knowledgeable, very aware and active in the community. This is nothing against them.
Yeah.
But if this is a mandated committee, and I noticed this too at I think it was the last meeting that you were sending this document to them, it kind of validates our feeling that the municipalities aren't really committed to this committee.
I can't make comment on that specifically. I believe that this council is committed. They have formed this committee. Like I said, I think that there was a strong relationship because council members used to be a part of IACD. So when something comes before them, they want to get that feedback. And I don't know 100% if they had actually reached out and said that they wanted to provide feedback before it actually got adopted by the council. I can't say that with 100% certainty. I think we're the only ones that had done it that way. We use that consultant group that actually had gone out and done consultation with the residents and receive feedback that helped form these documents based on that feedback. Everybody had the opportunity to provide it, including lots of advocacy groups or individual residents or anyone at all. It was open to everyone. So that's what it was created by. Council wanted to create these documents. We've combined them into one because we thought that at the time we thought that accessibility doesn't, it crosses all of our borders, right? So it's important that we kind of look at those things together. I think moving forward, like once this gets approved, I think it's going to be a great document. Each individual representative has their municipal section that they will be primarily looking at, but we're looking at the committee as a whole to provide recommendations and advice to our councils. I hope that helps. Go ahead, Patsy.
So because there are 7 municipalities, does that affect the, well, not affect the person who's volunteering, like all of us, giving up our time and really committed and passionate about what we're doing, they will not get in contact with us and ask for our advice for anything? Or so basically we're just tick boxes?
No, you will be providing advice to the councils.
In what format?
I think that maybe what we can do is actually provide like that roles and responsibilities and send it out. Oh, sorry, 1 second. I've got. Oh, I see a hand. Sorry, I can't see from here. 1 second. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Deb.
Thank you. Sorry to jump in. I realize I'm an attendee at this meeting and less than a participant, but I wanted to clarify that this was specific direction for Colwood's council wanted some input on Colwood's report. And so this isn't all of council's asking for that feedback. And going forward, we will be taking things to you as our advisory committee on accessibility. But we've been waiting for these, the whole suite of the accessibility plans to come together so that we could bring it to you as a package. So please don't feel that you are not the designated accessibility committee for the partner municipalities involved in the Capital West Accessibility Advisory Committee, because you very much are. Council does want to hear your input on items. This was an anomaly, and I think that it stems from our committee being struck before it transitioned to community members as well. And so I think that plays a part in it as well, because remember, we only transitioned at the beginning of this year to bringing community members in and shifting that to lived experience and supporting people with disabilities.
Sorry, go ahead, Patsy.
Now, my understanding, I'd just like clarification on when the 7 municipalities came together. There seemed to be, and I don't know if it was Souk or Esquimalt or both of them, they were really not part of it. They were brought in, but they said they were doing their own thing. I remember that we're doing our own thing, but we'll come in to the group and take your whatever advice. It wasn't the original West Shore group, and maybe it's the Esquimalts came in and said,
Sorry, I think Deb has her hand up for a response for that.
Yeah, I can respond to that. We were always part of the initial group. It was always intended to be the 7 municipalities. There was a period of time where there was trouble forming the committee going backwards in time here. There was some trouble with the municipalities being able to agree, and Esquimalt had some concerns about timelines, and so had at one point said, we'll still be friendly with the committee, but we may need to proceed on our own. And then we were able to, as a group of 7, come together and make everything work. So we never left. We were always intended to be a part of the group. We are still part of the group. We have a township representative there today, Maggie, and we're really pleased to be part of this group.
Thank you for the clarification, because that was a concern.
Oh, I just wanted to say this is frustrating. This is frustrating for everybody because we're not quite sure of our roles, and we don't know the relationship between us and the municipalities, or between us and the staff sitting around the table. It is imperative that we consider information as power. Information is power. If you have information, and you don't share it, there better be a good reason. Because if you really want to empower people with disabilities, you've got to share. And I'm not saying this well, I feel frustrated. I don't feel angry. You should see me when I'm angry. But I mean, I hear defensiveness from the staff and requests for help from the citizen members. That is a healthy relationship if you respect it and you try to do better next time. Already in this meeting, we have had 5 items where we didn't have enough information. Well, what is wrong with that picture? Why have us come to a meeting if we don't have the information? There is a problem with the citizen members not having enough members and not having their own agenda, because every item on the agenda comes from staff. That's a problem. But we're learning. We're babies. We're babies. So we have to give ourselves a wee bit of grace and become more focused. And if you read the Canada Accessibility Act and the British Columbia Accessibility Act, which are our guiding documents, they'll be a great help. And forget about municipalities' agendas. That's not our domain, I feel. They can look after their own agendas.
Thank you. Go ahead, Belinda.
I just wanted to thank Maggie. What you just said there is what the three of us, well, I'll speak for myself, but I suspect the three of us feel the same. What you just said in your first meeting with us nailed it.
It's the same.
We need a roles and responsibilities document so that we can feel like we are contributing in a positive way and following proper process. I do totally agree that the town of Esquimalt did sound very defensive, although I do understand that the city of Colwood chose to seek out another group. I think that sharing information is again the key, and that's what Maggie suggested. And part of the problem we've had from the start is everything that Maggie just listed. She nailed it in one meeting, just from watching one meeting with staff and the committee. So thank you, Maggie, for saying what we were struggling to say and have been struggling to say from the beginning. We needed help. We didn't get the help. We keep asking for help, and we feel as though we are being dismissed. If we get the help, then we can positively help you and help those with disabilities. So again, I want to understand, and this was a question that got omitted, when the city of Colwood said that this will be our guiding document. 7 municipalities' plans will be our guiding documents. Can someone please explain that to us so that we can understand?
I'm not sure if anybody else wanted to speak, but part of the legislative requirement is that we must have accessibility plan. We must have an accessibility committee. So in order for you to do your job, you need the documents and the tools to do it. This will be your tool. You need to understand what each municipality has set out, what they've done, what they're going to do, what they're in the works of doing. And those are the things that you'll be looking at and trying to make decisions on. And for an example, I was just thinking, as ours is getting, finally to the point where we're completing it. When I go to look for the city of Colwood, now staff has to provide you information because this is all about the services of the city, the buildings of the city, the parks of the city. This is what we're needing input on. This is what we need advice on. So when I will be looking to bring forward a report that we're going to be probably looking to bring a grant application forward, but I want this committee to look at the criteria and what's on the plan and maybe give some thought to it and say, you know what, you've got some great ideas of some initiatives that might fit. This is, as far as the committee is concerned, the top thing that we should be looking at getting implemented. Those are the types of things that we're looking for advice from. Having this plan is going to help you. That's what I mean. It's a guiding document. So you'll be able to look at it and figure out, you know, what we have within our municipality, what's already in place, what we need, and provide that feedback with a different lens, right? So, and that advice from you is going to get forwarded to our council. So if this committee makes a recommendation, that recommendation is getting forwarded to our council. Does
So
that,
from what I
anybody, Deb actually had a little bit more she wanted to elaborate, and then we'll go to questions from who's got hands up. Go ahead, Deb.
Thank you. First off, to the committee members, my apologies. My comments were not meant to be defensive. My comments were meant to reassure in that Esquimalt very much wants to get the feedback and the inclusion of the committee's comments on initiatives going forward. So I apologize if the comments were taken that way. That wasn't the intent. So I would like to put that out there. And also just to note that something Maggie has said a few times in the meeting is that this committee is still forming and there are pieces of information that we're still waiting to get. For example, Colwood's plan is still to be approved. But we very much want to be putting these plans in front of you and getting feedback from you and taking that back to our councils and back to staff. And so I hope that the sincerity is there and not the defensiveness there, because this is something that certainly in Esquimalt, we're very committed to making improvements, and we really want to provide meaningful work to this committee and take the valuable work back to make a big difference in Esquimalt. Thank you.
Sorry, go ahead, Patsy.
Yeah, just as
Can
an
I go
example,
back and finish my conversation?
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you hadn't finished. Go ahead, Belinda.
Okay, so going back to the guiding document, let me just see if I understand correctly. When you have an issue or you have a concern about accessibility, you will send it to the committee and then we will use your plan as a resource for providing feedback. Is that correct?
I hope it's okay for everybody that I just go ahead and answer. You just to have an understanding, because the accessibility legislation requires that the municipality provide this information on our services and our parks and all of that. The committee won't necessarily know unless staff provides that. That's why it's really important that we have staff representation, that we give you this type of information. That plan is going to help you as a guiding document. It doesn't necessarily mean that you can't bring other things forward. The whole point is that this committee provides advice to council. It's advisory, it's not decision making, but providing that council is going to look at the advice that you provide them when they're making decisions. So this document will be helpful to all of you. I really feel that it will be. And it will be a document that's going to get reviewed. So the feedback as you move along, and like any document, you'll probably look at things and see things that you might, want change on. Those are the kind of things that will be coming forward from this committee, making recommendations in the future too, to provide back to our councils, our respective councils. Sorry,
So
I wasn't sure if you were done or not, Belinda, before we go to the next hand. I'm just waiting.
Well, I think that in a roundabout way, you answered my question in that, yes, we will use that to help us provide feedback.
Sorry, Maggie will be right back. Sorry, Patsy, your hand was up, right? Okay, go ahead.
Accessibility being my passion, even before knowing whether I had a spot on this committee or not, I started looking at everyone's plans. And they're long to go through and read. And one of the things that I noticed right away, because this is my passion, is that Langford, as a resident, and looking at their plan. Sorry, I don't know that I'm still on.
You are.
Are on, you are, we can all hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So when I looked at it, then I went to all the meetings and everything with the consulting services that you used. So I looked at Langford, and as a resident of Langford, I want to say that their plan is really non-committal. And if you read the plan, it says may do, may do, may do, may do. There's no concrete, yeah, we're going to do this. And so if we were to want to change something and all that, and we see this trend over other municipalities' accessibility plans, well then, how are we removing barriers and improving the lives and the lived experience of people with disabilities if it's a may-do thing?
So part of that, I think, could be there might not be budget made available. So might be, these are some options that we've identified. I'm hoping that this committee, this is just, and I'm just going to speak on behalf of Colwood specifically.
Mm-hmm.
We're hoping that this committee would make recommendations to council as some of those priorities going forward. So there is a lot. What we've done is, like, when you look at most of the documents, and I'm going to speak again, I can only speak on what I know is well, and I know Colwood's well. We looked at it, we looked at what are the things that we've done that have improved accessibility within the area? What are the things that we could possibly do, or what are the things that are in process of being done? For example, you know, we just did an upgrade on one of our facilities not too long ago at Emery Hall, and we put in accessible bathrooms, which was amazing. Those are the kind of things that are going to be coming forward to the committee for consideration moving forward.
So does accessibility actually have, the Capital West actually have a budget? Because the city of Langford doesn't, I think there's a line in their budget that says that they may or may not have money. And I think the Highlands, if I'm correct, does not have any budget money. So is this going to differ from municipality to municipality?
Correct, it will.
Okay,
And
thank you.
we came together when we started to form this to look at saving costs by creating this document, by doing it together. So, you know, typically when you get a consultant to come and do a project like this for an individual municipality, it probably would have been 10 times the cost if we didn't collaborate together. That's one reason why we did. We thought we could save some funds with the creation of it, and then leave it open for some other things. I know specifically for Colwood, like I said, when we look at purchasing certain things, we already have that, like for accessible picnic tables is a prime example. We don't buy picnic tables if they're not accessible anymore. So that is something that we do. So there is budget in a strange way. So we have like a parks budget that includes things like that within it, but not specifically for this Capital West Committee. There is a
Thanks for
little bit of
clarifying.
funding that we do just in case, you know, we always think of, you know, if there's members that want to come here and they have a hard time getting here, we do have a little bit of a fund so we can actually pay for, you know, for say we needed to get a cab or a transportation or things like that. For myself, I was actually going to look at this year because budget's coming up pretty soon, is looking at putting some money in a possible educational opportunities too.
Thank you. That really clarified a lot of questions I've had.
Sorry, go ahead, Belinda.
I just have a question for the city of Colwood. It was in one of our first meetings, the first or the second meeting, I'm not quite sure, where two of the members were talking about the chairs, not being accessible chairs for our accessibility meeting. Does the city of Colwood have like funds to change the chairs or address that issue?
Perfect timing that you actually asked this question because I was just having this conversation today. We do have chairs with arms, but we want chairs with arms and no wheels. So I am putting in a request to get that. Because it's specific for, I don't know 100% if that's one reason why some committee members might have a hard time within our chambers, but that is a request I've put in. So thank you for that question. I think that almost brings us to the end, except for item 4.6 is a webinar opportunity for disability justice and local government tools for change that is being held. Is that tomorrow? Tomorrow,
Yes.
September 25th. So the link is actually on the agenda page for anybody who was interested in that.
See who sponsored it. Is it an American or a Canadian thing?
Oh, I bet you Belinda's got her hand up. She might be able to answer that. Go ahead,
I
Belinda.
didn't hear what the question was. The
She
sound
asked Maggie
sound was
asking
off.
what company put this on.
I was considering doing the webinar tomorrow, but I don't know if it's a, oh, it does talk about this.
We can't hear.
See. So it's a British Columbia based group, is it, that's sponsoring it? Does anyone know? No?
Not sure. Yes, correct.
Okay.
Thank you. Go ahead, Belinda.
I'm just wondering if I'm not available tomorrow, is there an opportunity to sign on to this in the future?
I don't know. Does it have another date? We'll just check. I don't know if there was another date because I think I actually looked at that already. We can check on that, and if there is, I will definitely make sure that a copy goes out to every single committee member.
Thank you.
Okay,
Starts
thank
again.
you. Sorry, Patsy, go ahead.
I just, out of curiosity, are any like municipal staff members going to be attending this information piece as well?
Sorry, go ahead, Victoria.
Hi there, it's Victoria here, Community Coordinator for the Township of Esquimalt. I will be in attendance at the webinar tomorrow. I'm not aware of any other dates in the future, and it's put on by Untapped Accessibility if that wasn't captured.
Yeah, thanks. Oops.
So no other municipalities?
Sorry, go ahead, Melissa.
Sorry, yes, Langford will also be there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So with that, I think we're at the end of our agenda items. I was wondering if I can get somebody to move adjournment. Thank you, Patsy. Thanks, Belinda. Thank you, everyone. Have a good one, and you will be seeing an email coming out from us soon, everybody, okay?
Welcome
you.
all to the new volunteers. Look forward to meeting you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Maggie just wanted to say something before we sign off.
Because it's my first meeting.
Oh, sorry, one sec.
I will try to just make a few notes, read journal for myself when I get home, have a cup of tea, and I'm going to ask myself what could I do better. And I would encourage everybody to do that. And I know that just because we are so new and so malleable and so all this, it might be good practice to. And I used to belong very much to the feminist health movement. And at the end of all of our meetings, we always gave an appreciation to each person on the committee. And I'm not going to do that today because I don't know everyone, but I do particularly appreciate Victoria, who got me tracked me down eventually on Monday, which was when I found out about the meeting. And to all the effort that's been put into preparing for today, but I especially want to appreciate the volunteer members. And the three of you sitting there like a little picture, it brings tears to my eyes to think about all the work you've done and how you're working through the discouragement and frustrations and participating so fully. And that's wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks, Maggie. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate all your time today. Have a wonderful day, and we will talk to you all soon. Thank you.
Thank you.